What's going on, traders? How we doing? Yes, it's time for Money Making Mitch.
It's time for Money Making Mitch. When investors need a story, we're going to the moon. Welcome to Money Mitch, where story is everything. I'm here to find you the next opportunity. It's all about the green hands. Now we all know the bull market is here to stay. Money Mitch.
What's up, traders? How we doing? How is the market today? I hope those pockets are nice and green because, mine are too, so I can't blame you. It was a good day in the market. Definitely, we're going to get into Tesla's earnings when they come out. I got the alert. We're watching on it. We're going to definitely pay attention. We're going to look at how the market moved today. We're going to look at some hot sectors. Lucid Motors, yes. We went lucid dreaming today. Not a bad day to go lucid dreaming. So definitely we'll talk about that. So smash the like button and let's get started. Let's go ahead and talk about some market sentiment right here. Talk about where we got the SPY right now. The SPY is starting to shoot on up there. As we've been looking at the SPY recently, just did that take. Just next time we get bearish, guys, just give me a good old whack in the head, right? Because every time we've gotten close to these moves, almost every time we've gotten these big breakout moves after that, this downturn, then this downturn, look, coming back towards a rip. So definitely let's pay attention here. SPY pushing up through the highs, through the all-time highs. Now let's take a look at the Qs. What did the Qs do? And much of the same, much of the same. We can't really say it didn't do anything different. Really pushing on up. We'll see if it gets through the 369 level going into the close. That's what I'd like to look at, but not a bad day pushing on up there and holding any kind of downward action there on the Qs. So not bad at all. We'll definitely pay attention to these. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of our biggest movers today. We had Tesla up about 2%. So we're going to get into Tesla when we get that earnings report. But let's take a look here. Zoom, not a bad day for Zoom, pushing back up there after kind of a rejection from that $400 level, pulling back to $350. We'll see if Zoom gets roaring again, but definitely keep this one on watch, guys. We'll see if this one can keep moving on up. All right, so the next one I wanted to talk about was Lucid. Of course, Lucid changed over just recently, right now, on from CCIV. Now you're seeing this chart say Lucid. That's why I like this chart right here. You're able to see these levels that we ran into today coming back down towards 25. But really, we had a quick drive up there towards 29, got towards a high of 29.03. And we've talked about this $30 level multiple times, how important it was going to be if we could get through that 30. Now that we've gotten up multiple times, high wick right now. So we'll see if this kind of continues tomorrow, but definitely a lot of volume being trapped up today. Tomorrow is going to be a very important price point. If it could hold 25 on pullbacks, I still like it. But if it cracks 25, of course, we could be heading back down towards the 20. So be careful there on Lucid. All right. I'm going to be definitely pay attention. What's going on? Looks like Tesla's earnings are starting to come out. So we'll be getting into that right now. They should be jumping onto there right now. So we'll get towards that. There it is. There's some people jumping onto that. All right, let's go ahead and pull it up here. I'm getting the information right now so I can add it to you. Let's go ahead and pull up Benzinga Pro, none other than the one and only Benzinga Pro. Let's look at what we got here on our headlines. So let's go ahead and take a look. We're starting to move on up. Look at the 1 minute. We've pushed on up there to 276, pulling back now towards about 670 from a push up from 650s. This is one that we've been talking about. 630s, guys, 630s. We've been talking about that level multiple times. And man, I'm still kicking myself that I don't have it. We had multiple attempts to get it at that $6 level. Now we're pushing through the trend. I think this is going to be the starting of the drive to get us through 700. Let's see if this is really going to get us some good volume going into this earnings report. I love this chart as it popped up there to 700. I sold at 690s, should have rebought at 630s, and now it's really starting to push in the after hours. Let's get some of these earnings, start talking about it here. The call looks like it's scheduled at 5:30, so look for that. We'll definitely have some news out on that, but man, starting to move on up. Here we go. We're getting some releases here now. BZ talking about Tesla's Q2 total deliveries at 101,304, up 121% year over year. Let's look at the adjusted here. So we got an EPS earnings of 1.45, beating a 0.96 estimate. So pretty good beat there. I mean, we were talking about a 51% beat there. And then if you look at the sales here, we're also beating here the estimate by about 6.69%. So a beat on both ends there. Let's see what other things we get mentioned in the earnings. Tesla says that it remains on track to build our first Model Y vehicles in Berlin, in Austin in 2021. So looks like what they're pretty much saying there is we had mentions of the Berlin manufacturing kind of slowing down there. And would they be able to get those cars out? There they go. They say they're remaining on track and they'll be able to get that out. Tesla says plans to grow manufacturing capacity as quickly as possible and sees achieving 50% average annual growth in vehicle deliveries. So pretty much they're trying to push the envelope, right? I mean, we're running into a big EV moment in our history. So we're going to definitely pay attention to see how these deliveries keep adding up. If you look here, the Q2 Model 3 year over year is up 148%. So we'll definitely be paying attention to this. Looks like you see how many things are just flowing through here, guys. You wouldn't get this if you weren't on Benzinga Pro. I'm giving you access right now. I'm probably going to get in trouble for it because it's coming so fast to us right now. You guys are getting it in almost real-time action. But definitely, this is exactly why I love Benzinga, because it makes it easy. You know, you don't have to be pulling up the whole earnings report. We kind of go through the earnings report and point out the important areas. So Tesla shifts launch of the Tesla Semi program to 2022. That's massive news, guys. Massive news as they're pushing back the Tesla Semi to 2022. Reason why, they had mentioned before that they didn't have the battery cells capable to really get what they wanted out. Let's see how this affects the chart. I feel like this is going to affect the stock pretty decently. Let's go ahead and let's go until 1 minute, see how we're doing right now. Looks like we're stuck between 677 80s and the pullback towards about around 665. So let's see if we can get out of this area. This is the 1 minute. So one thing I'd point out, and I'm going to draw kind of my rule here so you guys can see my rule of three like I always like to do. So we got a one up move, a one down move, a second move up, a second move down, third move up. It needs to hold this support on any pullbacks so that you kind of get this action, and then we're going to curve up through it and try to break out. Let's see if that's what happens here in Tesla. Yes, my NFT drawing. Don't worry. You guys can give me props on it later. All right, so let's take a look on the let's keep looking on the daily, see where we can see Tesla moving to and what could potentially happen in the next couple of weeks. You know, we're trying to hold these levels, really 640s from now on. I think we want to see hold, and if we can hold those 640s, we could break out through 700, and then once that happens, I think the next level up is up to 760s. So let's see if we can hold any pullbacks here towards, let's say, 650s, 640s, and then we get back up there. But the Tesla Semi news, I think that's pretty big, guys. I was actually paying attention towards that specifically. And I said, watch for news about the semi truck, because to me, this is one of their biggest drivers that was going to come in 2021. Now they're pushing it back to 2022. So that does make my outlook in the future brighter, but not in the short term. So we'll see how this really continues and moves. I want the Cybertruck so bad. Leah, why the Cybertruck? You don't like the Lightning, the Ford Lightning? I kind of like the Lightning. I'm not going to lie. I like it a little bit more than the Cybertruck, even though I like Teslas. I mean, you can't go wrong with a Tesla. But the Cybertruck, I don't know. I don't know if it really looks that good. But we'll see in the chat. Let's get these likes up. What's up? What's up, guys? Hit that like up. It looks like we got over 280 people. We just went through some of these earnings. I don't want to spend all day on that because I only got about 30 minutes. So let's start paying attention. We'll see that kind of turnaround. I feel like it's going to be hard to hold that support with the Tesla news of the semi trucks not supporting, but it does have support here. So we'll see if it kind of holds and makes that push out. You know what? I'll let this candle kind of close up and then we can move forward from Tesla. Let's see what happens here, guys. We're pulling back right now. We want to see kind of this support hold right here, kind of give us that action that we're going up, down, and then we hold in that support. Going to come here. We want to see a drive of volume, and then they come through this 670 level and really start pushing on up there to 675. If we can get through 675, I think we could continue to 700. That's what we really want to see in Tesla so it can get that big move up. All right, what's going on, guys? Peace and refuge. Your name and then Tesla tank. I think there's something ironic about that. All right, let's keep going, guys. Hit the like. Let's get into the next one. BAOS. What is you doing in after hours? I'm not sure. I don't even know that stock. I'd have to take a look. Mitch, are you viewing this on the 5-day chart 1 day? This is literally just a 1 minute after hours time. Like this is just from 4 o'clock right now. But what I usually use is I use a daily charts. I use 15-minute charts. I use hourly charts. And if I am going for entries from time to time, I'll use a 1 minute. I don't use it as often as I used to when I day trade, but definitely one to pay attention to. Crypto's getting wrecked. Well, the crypto stocks didn't get wrecked. I can tell you that much. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about those. If you didn't catch it, did you see BTBT? What a monster move in that stock. I mean, man. I would have caught this breakout. I wouldn't have been mad today. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Crypto stocks breaking out. BTBT. Look at this lift off, guys. It had a slight lift in the morning. We knew that was because of Bitcoin, but man, did it get a lift. After that kind of first couple lifts, it ended up really taking off here at the $6 price point, getting all the way up there towards past $9. What a move up there. On the 1 day, look how this looks. Boom, baby. That's a pushback. And it's not only BTBT that had the move today. You can take a look at plenty of different stocks here. I got the list here. I'll run through them all. So you got BTBT that made a big move. SOS, the emergency stock, as I like to call it. Not a bad move for this one. Take a look at this one as this one's starting to reverse the trend, starting to get some volume. We'll see if this one can get roaring with this one trading on sympathy of Bitcoin. Mara with a good move today. Nice move up there, trading up there to 29.58, a high today of 29.97. Let's keep going. Riot with a big move. Can't go bad with Riot. It popped on up there. And I mean, this one got towards a low last week towards 26. Now the way up there past 34, and I had a high today of 34.72. So that's a big move up from 24 in pretty much a couple of days here. Next one up I want to talk about is Mstr. That one's a big stock, but man, did it make a lift up today. Got a high of 695 from a low of 620. We're talking a 75-point move there, guys, in Mstr. And what a move that was in that. I mean, what a lift off. I mean, let's take a look here on the daily. You can clearly see this stock just kind of pushed on up off these levels. And that's why it's so important to try to get stocks off support, because if you were to give yourself an opportunity, let's say you got in here at 500, you're holding towards below the low here, which the low is 472. You're holding towards about a 28 point stop out. But man, that lift on up there to 682. You're talking about 182 move up for a 20-something point pullback. That's not a bad lift there in Mstr. Big move in those Bitcoin stocks. What's going on? How we doing? How we doing in the chat? Tomorrow I'll be looking at Ride. Megan, why are you looking at Ride? You should be looking at what your last name is. McDonald, man. McDonald's. McDonald's been making a good lift lately. Look at this move by McDonald's. This is just showing us that, hey, maybe some restaurants will start making some moves, maybe some reopening plays, but McDonald's has been really doing well lately. Starbucks has been really doing well. If you like Starbucks, hey, don't miss out on your coffee, because look at that lift off. That's a big push on up there by Starbucks. Another one making a big lift recently, DPZ, Domino's Pizza making a nice lift off. Also, of course, Papa John's. And for that sake, look at Wingstop also. Wingstop making a big lift also, starting to rip on up. There's some reopening plays out there. You just got to find them. So, a lot of players talking about that there's not some reopening plays. Just find them. McDonald's too expensive now. Yeah, I agree. Too expensive. Riot just dropped 2 points in 15 minutes. Barely moved 1.5 all day. Yeah, Riot. Riot wasn't the worst. If you looked at it, let's take a look here. One of the things is you can see these do these gap up a lot of the time. So they gap up in the pre-market and then they kind of just fade away. Look at this one. It's faded away nasty into the close. This one pushed on up there and went from 34.70s just crushing back down towards 32.60. That just shows you day trade momentum, not long term, not trying to hang out. Day traders just taking the momentum trade, making that money. And then once they make that money, they take it off the table. Let the investors stay. And so that's what happens there. And they pulled the rug and took the cash. So can't go wrong. Pun intended, the third wave. No. Let's not get another third wave. Fourth wave, fifth wave, sixth wave. No, I'll pass on those options. Let's keep going. Let's get into some stocks that I wanted to mention today. So some that are on my radar, and then we'll get into stocks from the chat. I want to definitely do some stocks from the chat. So get ready, team. Clean Spark is starting to interest me, guys. I don't know why, but this chart is starting to stand out to me. Has a good turnaround there at 13. Let's see if it can get through 15 tomorrow and the next couple of days. We'll see if this one can get lifted. That's Clean Spark. Another one that I like is Fubo. Fubo, for some reason, is starting to stand out to me again. And I'm starting to like this action that we got today, closing on up there by 26.90s, coming back towards a low of 26.03, a high of 27.21. So let's see if we can close at 27. But once this one gets above 28, I think it can really start pushing back up. And now we're really starting to see that, hey, can the Fubo trend come back and really start roaring again? Let's see if this one gets going and really starts roaring again. That's Fubo. Really, I'm basing this move off the big move that we got in Roku. If you guys have been watching Money Mitch, you guys have probably heard me say multiple times that I had a Roku target of 500. I need to find that video because I've said this back when it was at 300 and breaking 300. So we'll go back and we'll find that clip. But Roku has made a massive move on up. And with that being said, I'm focusing on some sympathy with Fubo and also Vizio. Vizio had a bad day today, but I think it could turn around now. It's fought this 28 so many times. If you look on the daily chart, we've had multiple times where we're trying to get up this level. Let's see if it holds 25 on pullbacks and then comes back roaring. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get in towards the next one. Paper hands. Did someone talk about paper hands? There's paper hands out there. Don't be folding. Don't be folding. Stick to your trade. Stick to the plan. That's what it's all about. I always talk about it. It's not about diamond, paper, even green. Just stick to your trade, guys. Stick to the plan that was originally set, what your risk was, what your results were. I recently put out a video that a lot of times I think traders don't know the results that they're going to get in a trade before they get in it. And this doesn't need to be exact because, at the end of the day, trading comes to execution. You're not always going to be perfect on your reward and perfect on your risk. But one thing I will say is that the best traders usually know both sides. They know where they want to take rewards and they know where they want to take risk. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into some of these other stocks that are moving on the day. Let's take a look at maybe the movers tool, see what we got moving in after hours and what's on the move here, because we had a lot of stocks that we're going to report today. So let's take a look here after hours for the session. What's up? iGate. We got Rock here, Evoke. Trying to see if there's any names that stand out to me. Nothing really that stands out to me. I love this one. This is not Tesla, guys. Tanzania Life Sciences, TLZ SA is not Tesla, guys. The stock has a tendency of moving. I don't know why when Tesla moves, but people end up thinking that TLSA is Tesla, I think, and they start buying into it. Smash the like. Let's keep it going. Let's get into a couple more here before we get on out of here. Let's get into some stocks from the chat. What do you got out there, guys? What do you guys want to get into? The last one I'd mention here to keep a watch is Foot Locker. Foot Locker, I think, is going to take a nice lift off through the 59 price point. I'm going to be watching to see if this one can get a lift. Today, it had a high of 59.30. Went through that level, but retrace. Let's see if we can finally clear that level tomorrow. I think if we can clear 59, really, we clear 60. And then from that point on, we can start trending on up there towards 62 and 66. And this high over here, that's 66.71. Let's see if that one can really start moving. That's Foot Locker. One to pay attention to is UA. UA has earnings later this week. So Under Armour, pay attention. This one could start lifting. It did get a nice lift today off that 1750. I like this one also, so keep this one on watch. Under Armour, not bad plays for this week. All right, so what other things do we have on our calendar? So as you can see, tomorrow we'll be going over Apple, of course. In the morning, we got GE. We got Waste Management. That one's an interesting one. JetBlue, report from an airline is always interesting right now. 3M is going to be an interesting one. Of course, UPS is always an interesting report. Pay attention towards that. I know that Mark Chaikin always likes to pay attention to UPS. It's kind of like a market indicator. We'll see if those kind of start ripping tomorrow. In the afternoon, there's so many names: Microsoft, Alphabet, Starbucks, AMD, Visa, Cheesecake Factory. There's going to be a lot going on tomorrow, this week, a lot of earnings. So I'll probably be doing a little bit more focus on earnings tomorrow as we get those reports to come out. What we'll do is we'll do a live report, get these as they come out and get them right to you guys. Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft, Starbucks, AMD. Man, it's going to be a crazy day tomorrow. Later in the week, QCOM, Ford. There's so many names: McDonald's, Pfizer's, Boeing. I honestly can't even name all these that are on here. I'd have to name every single one, but stay tuned, guys. It's a crazy earnings week. All right, let's go ahead. Let's catch up with the chat. I see those names starting to go. Nvidia is the first one I'm seeing. Let's go ahead and take a look at this chart. NVDA here. Let's go see what we got. All right, let's take a look here at the daily chart. Daily chart shows this really just pushed on up there towards 210, now coming down towards 180, but bouncing there. One of the things that I'd say about this is that, remember this stock had a stock split and really started pushing on up. I think one of the things that you did see is a run into that stock split. So it wouldn't surprise me to see this one eventually back down towards 180 or 170 and then trying to collect some volume and then build it up to get through the 200 price point. But this one right now is kind of stuck in the middle. I wouldn't really necessarily try to jump in and take a new position all the way up here. But if you got in on this breakout, I kind of understand why you're holding right here. Let's go ahead. Let's keep going. TAL, mentioned by XB, the Chinese destroyed stock, but bouncing back today. TEL Education. Let's take a look here on the 5 minutes, see how it did on the bounce. And it looks like it just did a quick bounce. I mean, look at this. Look at this 5 minute downtrend, 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 spike, downtrend. And so this is how you can get caught a lot of the times trying to catch the falling knife and then trying to look for a quick winner. I mean, because this one didn't give you a single chance. I mean, from 9:30 to 10 o'clock and then instant reversal all the way back down. And so that's pretty hard to deal with, especially day trade. So just be careful with that one on TAL. But on the one daily chart, I would start looking at where could this one stop. And really, I mean, we don't have levels to go off of. You have to go back till, let's say, 2013. So I personally think you stay away. I wouldn't be caught dead with one of these because I mean just think about it. If you were at 70 or 60s and you saw this fall to $4. Now, one of the things, the only reason why you start seeing people start taking this is because one of the things that can happen is there's not too much downside risk anymore. There's actually more upside potential, but not really my type of stock there. Let's go ahead. Let's keep going to the next one. Apple being mentioned by Anthony Jr. Let's keep going. I'm trying to roll through these. So AAPL, not Advanced Auto Parts. I don't know why I got Advanced Auto Parts, but that chart didn't look bad. Just mentioning that. Apple really starting to push. Man, this was your shot right here when it tried to break down 124s one more time, and then it really took off. Now I think 150 is going to get that breakout. We rejected from that level today. We got up to 149.83, guys. 149.83. That's your chance right there. Let's take a look at the hourly, how we're really stacking up there multiple times. If you see on the hourly, you're going to start seeing these multiple wicks trying to get through there, The main thing to watch is there a big seller up there. Look for there's to be a big order on the ask side, just sitting there on the ask side, just sitting. And then if you can get that order to get through, that's what's going to break us through that 150. So sometimes you'll see, like, let's say on the 150, you'll see 200 there or 400 there. When you see that 400 start knocking down where it goes 400, 330, 300, 200, 120, boom, the price goes through and then we break through that big level. Right now, I think there's a big seller trying to keep selling out in that spot. So it goes up to it and it takes some of his shares. Goes up to it, takes some of his shares. But what you need to do is get that momentum to drive through his shares, and then you'll see him show up on the time in sales, that big order go through, and then you'll see that Apple breakout that I'm expecting. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep going. What else we got? Looks like we got Square. Square, is that a bad one? GE being mentioned. There you go. Let's get someone from Twitter here. GE being mentioned. I'll take a look. GE tomorrow earnings, so definitely that could change things up. But how have we been trending recently? Let's take a look at the daily chart. Daily chart really, I mean, scooped us up from this lows, these $6 price point that, man, I probably should have been buying up GE myself. But now we've had multiple times to get through 14. 14 is a big, important level as we've been trying to break out through that level. And then as soon as we get up above that, we always reject around the 1440s, the 1450s. Let's see if we can get up there towards 13 and get some big volume, because if you see, the volume's actually kind of been on a decreasing levels, at least when it pops up. When it pops up, the levels decreased, not increased. So as this comes through these levels and it starts trying to make a breakout, you'd want to see that volume start pushing on up there so it could follow the breakout and really get through those big levels. All right, let's go to the next one up. What do we got? Lewis with a Square. Square, is that a bad one to take a look at? Recent push on up. This one's really starting to get towards resistance. I think this one could pull back closer towards 250 before really starting to set up a nice lift trade there. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to be wrapping up soon, probably about like 5 minutes here. Let's get into a couple more names. Logitech one being mentioned here, not a bad one. LOGI, Logitech International. We had kind of a sideways day, really sideways. It didn't really move up, didn't move down, but it is starting to look interesting here. Now, the one thing we can state is that you have the earnings tomorrow at 8:30, so just be careful. A lot of it's going to be depending on that. I think right now you saw a lot of volume stack up here. So you're talking about this one normally trades on a daily, 500,000 shares. Now in the last 3 days, it's traded 1.2, 1.25, and then 1.28. Let's see if we can get it through this level. This high right here is 122.37. It needs to get through that level so that we can really start roaring beyond that. All right, and this is Logi. With Logi, I was watching today here. Turtle Beach. Turtle Beach seemed interesting to me. Same looking kind of chart. Same looking kind of chart. Same thing with here. I also look at CRSR. Those three I put in the same basket, and I'm paying attention to those. This one gave me a sign that we might get a lift up after we pulled off of that 2879 level. You know, this was the recent really push out on Corsair. And I'm starting to get interested now that we're down towards these levels, but we want to see a big push in this one through the $30 level. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into one or two more here. Baba being mentioned in the chat. I know that, Baba is one of those that you got to definitely keep your eyes on because it's turned around. But man, I don't think anyone would have thought that it would have been back down underneath 200. If you would have told me probably about 2 or 3 months ago, if I would have thought Baba would get to 200, I probably would have told you no. So that just goes to show you how far it's pulled back. But the question is, when does it stop? It's been on a really bad downtrend. I wouldn't try to call the bottom. Reason why is that it's just a hard stock with all this Chinese news that's been coming out. You know, we never know what can happen with China, and that's what always concerns me. This actual weekly look where it was kind of pulling back and getting to, it just didn't hold either. It pulled back and broke that $200 level, which actually makes it look even further like it wants to come to further support and further support down. Next spot for me would be somewhere near here, this 160s, 180s coming on up, and then we'll see if it can hold there, and that's Baba. All right, let's go ahead and let's take a look. You've been buying CRSR, Leah. It's not a bad one. Anything under 30 is great for CRSR. I can't disagree. It's one of my favorite stocks in the stock market. I wanted it at 14. I'm always going to regret it, but hey, that's how it goes. I love that stock when it IPO'd last year, and I'm going to keep focusing on that. Sell all Chinese stocks, says Shuri. I can't blame you. I mean, they're not performing well right now, so can't blame you for having that view. Born to be free, got it right. Smash the like. Let's take a look at the cruise line. Steven, you trying to go on a cruise? I might. I mean, can't blame you. Let's take a look. Carnival bouncing off that level. Really, I wanted to kind of pay attention towards this weekly, guys. I've been looking at this kind of trend line, and I drew this out before this kind of turnaround happen. So I'm trying to pay attention to see what we get here. It's a nice lift off right now. I think really, cruises are going to recover faster than I think airlines in the long run. Just because I think you'll get the cruise travelers to come back. The people that like to go on cruises usually go on cruises again. I just think that's going to happen. But really, that was a crazy washout. That was from 31 all the way back down to 20 when a lot of people traded in that chop. So you're going to run into a lot of overhead supply when you get above $25 towards 29. So that's going to be a really choppy area. I don't mind playing it now, but once you get into that area, just be careful because you could have some chop zone as Carnival had a lot of people trapped up there. All right, let's go ahead. Leah says, my parents already have 2 cruises booked. Tell them to call me. I'm ready to go. But definitely, if you really see, I think, the people that do go on cruises, we'll just go back. They're not worried about it. Spotify being mentioned by Addy. I'll go ahead and I'll touch that one right quickly before we get on out of here. Spotify Technology, not a bad looking stock. One of the things that I would say, though, is that this kind of period where you had this kind of, it looks almost like a long-term head and shoulders. But let me look on the weekly, see if I still see that kind of look. Yeah, it kind of has that look. I just don't like that. It kind of gives me that approach. Whether I like the stock or not, yeah, I do like the stock. I'll tell you that. But this doesn't look good to me, guys. I don't want my stocks to look like humans. And when they look like humans, they look like they got shoulders. And I don't know, man. I don't want no head and shoulders here. So I'm going to be focusing on this one. I'll try to see if it really does break support because support's right underneath it. If it breaks 230 230s on the downside. I think you could really start testing back down towards 200. So just be careful with this one. But like I said, the pattern long-term doesn't look good to me, but it is off support. So I understand why you're looking at it. Could bounce off of that. We'll see how this one performs in the next couple of days and if this is a head and shoulders or not. All right, let's go ahead and keep going. Cruises won't see another shutdown this fall or winter due to the new COVID variants. I don't think so. I just think that once they get back onto the waters, it'll just be like us. They don't want to bring us back in lockdown because there's just going to be the question of the economy and how long it can survive. All those questions that came when we went into lockdown again, they don't want to go into lockdown again. It's going to take a must, I think, to get us to lockdown. So we'll pay attention towards that. We'll see how that kind of works. All right, PFE has been ripping through the moon. Shopify has been doing good. It's not going to do bad at all. I think that one's not a bad one, definitely to keep your eyes on. But Spotify is one that's just completely different. I mean, Shopify has been a complete monster. We called that rip out on here. I mean, I don't know if this was the first time you're catching this, Joan, but we actually called out when this one went from this 1250 all the way up there to 1500, as that's exactly when we had the Q breakout that we called out. And man, this one has taken a lift. It pulled back, held the support, pushed back up. This is a super strong stock, Shopify. I would not turn away from it. Conference calls in 2 days, so pay attention to that. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to be wrapping up here. Let's take a look at Tesla, see how we traded in the after hours, see how we did and where we closing up here. All right, so if we remember, I drew out kind of that support. I said if we could hold that support, come back up, we could probably test up towards the 675. Looks like we're kind of doing that same kind of look. We tested back down towards support, gave some wicks, gave some false breakdowns, and then now is starting to recover. And so we'll see if we kind of recover in this stock. But this is kind of the look that you guys want to be looking at. You know, these kind of bounces, know where the support is. Like I always talk about, there's levels to this game. And if you don't know the levels, just speak to my man Drake. He knows all about the levels. He talks about it all the time. I talk about it in stocks. But at the same time, Tesla. There's levels to this game, guys. All right, going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Up next, you guys will get Trend Spider. Trend Spider is definitely Jake. Stay tuned, guys. Great chart technician. Just like, I mean, hey, we have a bunch of them here at Benzinga. But one thing that I will give you is that with Trend Spider, you can get that drop candle. I think that those drop candles are pretty interesting. So check out Trend Spider. That'll be coming up next at 5 o'clock. I'll go ahead and wrap it up here in the next 2 or 3 minutes. I'll take 1 or 2 more stocks here and then call it a day. DKNG, DraftKings. Ooh, the earnings are coming. They're coming on August 6th. And on August 5th, you get also Penn. So pay attention towards these. I think these can really start making moves prior to the earnings versus making the move at the earnings. So now that we got this big green candle, be careful with a little bit of pullback towards 47.50. But we really want to see this one just start taking off and trending back up. Let's take a look at the daily chart, see what we see. As we've been seeing big recoveries from 44, be careful for a little pullback towards, let's say, closer towards 48 and 47 before we take off. But I do think this one is going to take a good lift. We'll pay attention towards this one as it gets closer towards the earnings. DKNG may have sympathy move based on Penn. Yes, I mean, when Penn reports on the day prior, pay attention to DKNG, see how that reacts to that earnings, and we'll definitely pay attention to both. All right, let's go ahead and see what other things. There you go, the monkeypox. Don't get the monkeypox, guys. Don't get that. I don't know if it's in Dallas, Leah, but stay away. Stay away, Leah. Eunice talking about Palantir. Palantir is one that, man, when's this one going to get ripping? I've been wanting to play this one. Do we need Money Mitch to jump on Palantir to get it moving? Is that what it is? Is that what it is, guys? let's focus on this, guys. One thing that I did see is this pullback kind of that we ripped out of, right? The $21 price point was so important for me. That's when they started really getting their contracts. That was right here at this circle. So now that we've gone back towards these levels where we came back to, I think that's a good thing. It's a good positive thing. Now, one thing I will point out is the volume, guys. The volume. That's always so important to me. Look how this volume kind of downtrends, 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 downtrends. Well, yeah, we have these multiple spikes of volume, but we haven't had one of those spikes since this last push. That's what we need. We need another spike of volume and the volume trend to come back as we get closer to 25. I think that's going to be a very important price point. Once we get closer towards 25, this is going to be very important to get that volume to spike for us, to give us that nice lift. Because if we can get that volume to spike for us, then we can really start getting back up there towards 2750s, 30s, and then really start breaking out on Palantir. All right, we'll figure it out. We'll see how it is. Palantir is undervalued. I have to say it now. When I see a stock go sideways like this for so long and the bears don't just knock it back down, that also shows me value. That shows me that, yeah, it's kind of near this price value right now in the investors' eyes, but that doesn't mean that the value probably isn't even higher than this. So when it can't get knocked down, and a lot of people talk about it, I keep my eye on those because those could be the next rocket ship. All right, let's figure it out. Let's go ahead. What time are Tesla's earnings coming out? They already came out, Joan, but one thing you can catch is at 5:30 they have the earnings call. So don't miss the earnings call. If you want to check out Tesla's earnings call, definitely check that out. You guys got it. Give me a thumbs up if you guys appreciated today and enjoyed. Web, why'd you have to do that to me? Give me a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed today's show. Going over through some Teslas, some Lucid Motors, some different stocks. I think we went through some Bitcoin stocks. We looked at some different plays that I'm looking at. CLSK, Fubo, Foot Locker. I think these can get moving. I'll give you guys one more if we reach the like goal for today, which was 100 likes. Let's see what we got here. Did we get to 100 likes, guys? Did we get there? Come on, 95 likes, 96. Where are my likes at? Let me give you one more stock. I'll give you that, guys, if we get these likes up. Come on. Get them up. Let's go. All right, guys, let's go ahead and let's take a look. I think we're getting those likes up. There we go, 109. That's what I wanted to see, guys. Appreciate you guys appreciating me. Let's take a look here. And what stock do I want to call? All right, let's go ahead. Let's do this one. I called this one on my Twitter today, and I called it a little bit earlier. So if you guys don't follow me, definitely try to do that because I did call this one a little bit earlier today at 1525, now already getting up there towards 1540s. So that's kind of where the area where I started calling it when it started breaking through the 15s. But I really like this one because it's been on a big downtrend since kind of the merger. And this one has a lot of partnerships. This is LEV, Lion Electric, a former SPAC. So we'll see how this one starts ripping. But a nice turnaround look there from that $15. Now, if it pulls back to 15, that'll definitely get me interested as we got some support underneath it that we can go off of. Pretty much these 1430 levels or 1425 level is not bad. We got lows here of 1408, 1419, 1432, 1432. And so that's kind of the level that you can use, that 1430, and then measure your risks looking for a kind of a small risk area to a big return kind of look. That's what I like to do, guys. So we're talking a 4-to-1 look, 3-to-1 looks. Those are my kind of looks. And I like this one, LEV, Lion Electric. I hope you guys enjoyed me giving you one more extra one. I appreciate you guys hitting the like. Hit the share button down below. Let everybody know Money Mitch is hot and going to keep it going. I'm letting you guys know sometimes there's waves to the game. Right now, I'm riding through the in-between stage, and there'll be another hot stage again when we get these stocks lifting, and we'll be right on it. Just stay tuned and stay with Money Mitch, like always. Hit the like, guys. We'll see you guys next time. LEV earnings out on August 13th. Todd, Thank you, Todd, for adding that information. That's what it's all about. It's about you guys out there supporting me, supporting us, supporting this community. Money Mitch, Zinger Nation, you guys know, on the one and only Benzinga.
It's time for Money Making Mitch. When investors need a story, we're going to the moon. Welcome to Money Mitch, where story is everything. I'm here to find you the next opportunity. It's all about the green hands. Now we all know the bull market is here to stay.